Hey everyone. This week we're watching District 9, a 2009 film about first encounter between humans and aliens. District 9 was directed by Neil Blomkamp, a South African director, and produced by Peter Jackson, who was made famous for his work on Lord of the Rings. It was Blomkamp's short film, Alive in Joburg, a short mockumentary exploring themes of apartheid in South Africa, that really laid the foundation for District 9. Yes, the alien invasion genre has been done and perhaps overdone with films like Independence Day, Aliens and its numerous sequels, Predator, Mars Attacks, V, and so on, not to mention the countless films from the 1950s when the genre was probably at its most popular. But in District 9, there's a really interesting twist. The aliens arrive over Johannesburg, South Africa, and they're sick and malnourished. As a hive mind species, they've lost their leadership and they're listless. They're treated by humans as refugees, and the aliens are confined into an internment or detention camp called District 9. As the film opens, Multinations United, or MNU, a private military firm contracted to police and take care of the aliens, is planning to relocate the aliens from their current home in District 9 to a new camp at District 10, further away from Johannesburg. The film itself is an allegory for apartheid, the system of racial segregation in South Africa that existed until 1994, and the opening scenes are a retelling of the 1966 forced evictions from Cape Town of black South Africans from an area called District 6 to a new township called Cape Flats about 25 miles away. I've outlined some specific questions in the film guide that you may want to review before you watch the film. It'll highlight some of the scenes and exchanges that are of particular interest in the context of this class, but briefly I'd like to draw your attention to a couple of items that are particularly noteworthy. During the opening scenes of the film, as MNU personnel are distributing eviction and relocation notices to the alien residents of District 9, pay attention to the way the process itself is bureaucratized, how that bureaucratization depersonalizes the various relationships and reinforces the subordination, masking the oppression presented in the film. Think about the parallels that exist not just to apartheid, but even to the Holocaust. And as an aside, there's some really interesting parallels with the 2001 Kenneth Branagh film Conspiracy, which tells the story of the 1942 Wannsee Conference, where Nazi bureaucrats planned the logistics of the Holocaust. More broadly, we can think about what the film says about the power of the state. Focus on the role of the Nigerians who live in District 9 and the role of MNU as a private military corporation. What do these groups suggest about the power of the South African state and the nature of sovereignty in South Africa? Finally, think about what the film says about the nature of immigration and the challenges faced by refugees, particularly in the context of genocide. About an hour into the movie, there's a scene where Vilkus interacts with Christopher Johnson and his son and relays the stories that he's heard about the aliens being stupid, not understanding the law or property rights, not loving their families, and so on. Throughout the film, the aliens are referred to as prawns, and a slur that attempts to undermine their humanity, if you will. We can think about parallels to that. In Rwanda, radio broadcasts leading up to the 1994 genocide there called ethnic Tutsis cockroaches. During the World War II, the Nazis called Jews rats. Genocidaires must dehumanize their victims and normalize violence, a process that's clearly on display in this film. So there's a lot going on in District 9. I'm really curious to hear what you think about it. Be sure to review the film viewing guide before you're watching the film, and I'm looking forward to reading what you think. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Nobody comes back late at night anymore. They have more security.
The government noticed that they were moving into new areas. That's when things started to get out of hand.
They don't belong here.
They're spending so much money to keep them here when they could be spending it on other things. At least they're keeping them separate from us.
A lot of bad things started to happen.
They must just go. I don't know where they go. They must just go.
We're at the breaking point. People are living in fear.
Why don't you just leave? How do your weapons work?
I just want everyone watching this right now to learn from what has happened.